So when I was younger, I was brought up in a fairly chaotic family. My dad was a bit of a playboy. Not a bad man, but he just lived life the way he wanted to. Problem was, he was married and he had 4 kids. So I realised at a young age, alcohol can destroy.
In an Irish context, you don't have to look very far to find the powerfulness of addiction. We have a strong connection as a nation with alcohol. It's a well-documented fact, and sadly that has taken people's lives and families to places that are very dark.
I used to sit outside and beg for money, and I remember talking to this kid, he's probably 14. This kid came back with his savings, all coins, and gave it to me. So I could go in and get alcohol and drugs. And I took it because I needed that money. You know, I was supposed to be the one helping kids. There was this kid helping me. I knew I either had to die or get help. Because my life couldn't be just that. Walking into stores and standing at the store, standing at the counter just waiting to buy alcohol, and my hands are shaking so much that I'm taking the coins out. I can't even count the coins in my hands. I have to spill them onto the table, you know. And at the same time I'm doing that, I'm actually, you know, urinating on myself because I can't hold it in the middle of the store. Yeah, I mean, life is just black.
So what I found was I had invested in different things over the years, and all of those things are going to come to rust. Every one of them is going to come undone. Maybe not now, but in 50 years, he'll be wondering, who? Aubrey who? You know, who cares if he had 10 houses or 5 hotels? Who cares? But what you will see is how many lives has that impacted for eternity? What is the legacy left behind? And so that's why the 4 walls of a church is not going to impact the community if it's insular. Phil worked with me from a young age, and I remember he himself and myself feeling, on a Sunday morning we're in church and we're singing about helping people, you know, rescue the perishing, care for the dying, and yet we're nowhere near the perishing, and they're not coming to church.
So what we were seeing was, if you got somebody to go to a rehab, and huge amount of work goes into even getting somebody across that line, but if we manage to get somebody into a rehab, quite often, if they completed the program, they could come back, knock on the door of the shelter within 6-12 weeks. Sober, clean, but still back in the same position. And usually would end up back in addiction again because lack of supports, lack of aftercare, lack of housing, all of those things.
So then I got involved there was a Baptist church in a village near me, and it would have been an ideal centre. I got them all together, and I said, can you guys work together and we'll provide the finance? 6 months later, nothing happened. And I didn't hear an audible voice, but I actually felt God is saying, the easiest thing you can do is give money. Now, how about giving your time, giving your efforts, giving your wisdom as regards business, giving your, whatever it takes, but get involved and get your hands dirty. So I'm going to push for buying a place in Wicklow, and we're going to set up a charity, Tiglin, and we will work with people that have come undone with addiction, etc. And that's how Tiglin started.
So we can go out tonight to our homeless outreach program, and we can see somebody who's hungry or somebody that needs clothes. And we have a duty to meet those needs, and that's what we do on a daily basis. But beyond that, I think up until that point, that's charitable investment. Beyond that, when you say, what would you like to do with your life and how can we help you do that with your life? That's where social entrepreneurship and social investment comes in. I suppose at the very start, we would have seen that what was missing was rehab, a place that people could go, remove themselves from the current chaotic environment and place themselves in a kind of a peaceful place where they could heal and receive the right kind of love, support and professional care. But then when we did that, we realised actually people need education. So through connecting with other education providers, an educational program was developed that meant that people who came into the rehab could access high quality third level education. Then we realised, well, actually, when rehab ends, where do they go to live? So that made us address housing as an issue. But then when you give somebody a set of keys to somewhere to live, they still need a lot of support. So that led us to try and solve that problem through aftercare supports. And then we realised, well, when aftercare is over, how do they actually get back to meaningful employment? So we created an employment program. And part of that employment program is Rise at the Cove Cafe, but there's many different arms to the employment program, but one of those arms is Rise at the Cove. And Rise at the Cove is not just about a job. It's certainly about a job where people can get paid and all of that kind of stuff and get trained. But the most valuable outcome that we see from Rise at the Cove is that they get to engage with the community, and they get to also see that they are as good and equal to anybody who walks in that door. And that's not something you can really learn in a college course. It's only when you get the opportunity to equally participate that you realise that I am an equal. And when you have the right support and management around you and staff, that you realise that I'm no different. And that is that human-to-human connection again that rubs off. So we never set out to kind of go, here's the road we're going on. It was a case of, let's solve this problem. When that problem was solved, we realised actually there's still another bit of that problem that needs to be solved. And it just led us to one thing, to the other. So we have our men's rehabilitation centre, which is in Wicklow, on the edge of the Wicklow Mountains. Our ladies' rehab is in Bridas Bay. It's on a beautiful stretch of beach on the edge of Wicklow. Our aftercare supported housing services, both for men and women, operate from Greystones in 2 separate facilities. And our accommodation for Ukrainian families is also in Greystones. We have a cafe called Rise at the Cove on the edge of the Cove Beach in Greystones.
I was 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out of the door for 6 months of that program. And I went back out and things got worse. I was back homeless again. I ended back in hospital. But this one was really bad because I lost the power of my legs. I couldn't walk. I woke up one morning in the tent that I was staying in and I couldn't stand up. Just my central nervous system shut down.
He's gifted. But all of his gifts and talents were completely paralysed, and literally physically at one point paralysed because of addiction. And behind that addiction was deep hurts and traumas that he had to deal with. And so to see him today active in the community, having a job, establishing his own kung fu school and his crafting business, and that's, to me, that's inspiring.
So it was just my life and my mind and my spirit and my body, my will. I gave it to God. And he practically gave me it back. Well, he gave me it back with so many different things, so many amazing different things. I never felt like I belonged anywhere in life. Well, I feel like I belong here in Greystones with this community. I feel like I belong with Tiglin. But the coffee shop helped me to restore me my self-esteem and my dignity, you know. But in a very humble way. Have my family back. I think that's the most important and most amazing blessing I have in my life, is that I am a brother again to me brothers and sisters, and I'm an uncle again to my nephews and nieces.
I believe, Tiglin, what we do is we believe in people, and we believe you're made in the image and likeness of God. And what we do is we give every opportunity for you to help you in your recovery. You might not get it first time round. Well, we're there for the second chance or the third chance, but we're there to help you find that there is life beyond addiction. There is life beyond homelessness. There is life beyond the Ukrainian war. And what we try to do is show you the love that Christ showed us. And we do that and we fail miserably. But what we do is try to be authentic in what we do.